All right, embrace it.
Yay. Okay. Love and happiness. I love my neighbor upstairs. We're so perfect for each other. We've never met. I feel like I'm loud. He's always jamming out. Can you hear? What's it? Habibti. What's I want to hear? Let's listen to. I know what I want to hear. Yeah. I kind of thought about the Grateful Dead a lot lately. There's a song I'm looking for. Did anybody used to trade Grateful Dead tapes? That's like the first thing I ever used the internet for. I had so many tapes of live shows, and there's this one song. I think he only did it live. I can even see the tape. Anyway, I'm in the best mood. You won't even believe sometimes when you just do things that you don't want to do, even, but like maybe you have to do them or whatever. Beauty is everywhere. If you just keep yourself open to beauty and possibility and positivity, it's freaking everywhere. You would have to literally be in a mindset of negativity not to see beauty everywhere. Hi, Heather. What's up, Heather? Yeah, it's probably almost bedtime. I was just like randomly coming on here. I don't even know what time is it. It's 8:53. Are you in LA? What were the things I was gonna say that was gonna be helpful? Um, oh, like some psychology stuff. On top of the psychology stuff that I talked about last night, like the power of someone, especially like, okay, so keep in mind the frontal lobe of a person, the frontal lobe of your brain, which is like critical thinking, autonomous thinking, stuff like this, isn't fully developed in a person until they're 21, 22 years of age. So to have so much influence put on children, put on young minds, like little kids, I think is criminal. But also to have people that are in positions of authority, like doctors, say, you have this. I mean, like, I can't tell you how many people have told me they have had ADHD since they were 11 or been Adderall since they were 15 or whatever. And it's like, especially if your parents are backing that up, your brain is the most important and powerful pharmacy, medication, anything that exists. I consider myself an alchemist. If something happens in my body, I'll just sort it out. No big deal. But when you're a young sponge mind and somebody who you're taught to listen to and believe, and then so many parents get in this racket as well about psychology, it's always follow the money, but to think about the mental like havoc that wreaks on people, you basically when I by the way, when I went to the reparenting center, the reprogramming center that was a rehab, I kept telling them for like the first 2 weeks, I'm like, look, I'm down to do whatever, but I'm not going to tell myself because you have to say all the time, my name is Ashley, I'm an alcoholic. I was like, I don't want to tell my brain that because, first of all, I don't feel it's true. And I'm also labeling my brain with something like, okay, so I guess you'll just go another day without your phone and your computer. But this is exactly what I'm saying. So imagine kids that don't even have that kind of critical thinking yet. I was 30 years old at that time, 10 years ago. Imagine kids without critical thinking. You have this, you have that. It's basically like you are this. And then they internalize that. I'll never forget this kid. Such a random thing, but I have so many memories that I'll never know. I've never talked about this memory until right now, but for some reason, I have memories that like I know that I'll that will stay with me or something. I don't know. I haven't even thought about it since 2019 May. I was staying on a friend's couch in Hollywood, and I was walking from Hollywood Boulevard. I'm sorry, Hollywood and Vine. Yeah, Hollywood Boulevard to El Centro on whatever street. This kid came up to me. It was like 4 blocks, and he was on a bike, and he was like 20. This was last year or 2 years ago. So I was like 38, and he was like 20, and he was like, "You're so beautiful. I just want to tell you, you're so beautiful." I was like, "How old are you?" He might have been even like 19 or something. And I was like laughing. I was like, "Well, it's dark. If you want, you can ride your bike next to me 3 blocks and talk to me. So I'm not like walking alone. But don't go up to old ladies and tell them they're pretty." I didn't call myself an old lady. But we talked on the way home. He was very polite, and he rode his bike next to me while I walked like the 4 blocks in the dark in the Hollywood. To my friend's place. And we were just talking about stuff, and he was like, I was just feeling the difference in brain frequency. Like, I guess the epochs is what they are, like Gen Z, and then I'm 1981. Some places say it's millennial, and then other people say it's something else. I don't ascribe anything about my personality to anything that they say about either. But this kid was very internal. That's what I'll say. His world was very internal. Like, we were having a conversation, and like I want to say he was riding his bike, so his bike had to be like on a handle, so like slowly, but I could like feel his phone in his hand. Does that make sense? And we had like a pretty deep conversation for 12 minutes and 3 blocks or whatever. But he told me about the medications he was on. He was very, what's the word I want to say? Knowledgeable, informed about mental stuff, like at the age of 19, maximum 20. It's almost 11 in Oklahoma. Yeah, I know I have a student early tomorrow, but I just felt happy, and I want to share love and happiness. It's 9 o'clock in LA, 8:59. Hi, Oklahoma. I have the same birthday as my husband. My birthday is July 27. Did I say birthday? Someone else I think has the same birthday as your husband. Is your husband July 27, Heather? Heather, did you see the movie Heathers that came out in the 80s? Do you remember that with Winona was in it, right? That was a crazy movie. We don't eat in front of other people. But when I experienced traumatic shit in my life, I felt a difference. Like, I started to notice I'm walking a block from my apartment to my yoga studio. Do I have my keys? I used to walk with keys, and I would have the key like this part pointing out. So this is West Hollywood from 2013 to 2017. Like, maybe something will happen within that 0.9 miles, but most likely not. I walked there with my keys like that. I walked there with a hammer in my hand several times, knives, just ready. I'd be driving in my car at a stoplight and lock my doors 15 times. Something changed. You know what I mean? And then when I went to talk to someone about it at Cedars, and I'm not a fucking victim, but I was like, a bus drives by fast and it takes me 15 minutes to catch my breath, like something's off. And obviously there's a lot of stuff going on. So I had one serious event, and then of course the drawn out long situation that was the demise of my father was like what we would call like a sustained trauma. So that's like analogous to, it's just easy. People that go to war. So they go to a place like Afghanistan. I'm going to leave out all this stuff. I'm just going to get right to the point. They have to, I'm going to leave out everything except for the point. So they get to Afghanistan to fight a war. That's all I'll do. And they have their brains that are used to, like, most likely a home and food and similar ish circumstances as we are, has to literally rearrange itself and reprioritize certain parts of the brain so that it can survive and function normally amidst abnormal circumstances. That's all trauma is. That's all the damage or the rewiring and the healing of the limbic brain is. So breaking that down. But if I would have gone the route, like, okay, so the guy that diagnosed me with PTSD, Dr. Takayama at Cedars-Sinai. So I was like, okay, what do we do? How do we fix this? And my dad was like dying and stuff. And, I think when you're in trauma, it's kind of hard to like fix it while you're in it. But I've always been like, okay, how do we fix this? And, and then the therapist that I'm with now is fine. And I also think that and I'll say it, I'm going to say that I'll defy any medical anything. I'm healing my brain. That's what it is. But I think it's really, I want to respect also at the same time everyone's path. Like, a lot of people have success in whatever dealing, or you know what I mean? It's not always like that. I've made a decision for myself that I'm not going to tell myself that I have a handicap or a malady, although I'm not lying to myself. I'm still healing stuff and sewing things up, but it's not going to characterize my life. I hope that makes sense. But at the same time, especially younger people, I just want to send like strength and empowerment to, like, wherever you feel safe, stay there. There was just so many times I was like, especially in the last 10 years, when I was like sort of pushed to trust people that I should have been able to trust, but were not trustworthy. And everything in my body said, this is not right. And I said to people, this is not right, but people said to me, no, like, listen to your body. Your body, not only will it not lie to you, it doesn't know how to lie to you. I had the best experience today out of something that felt like it might have been, out of like a situation that's not super fun for me. And I wish, wasn't a situation at all, but everything is a blessing. I had this 2-hour conversation with my father's fourth wife tonight, and it was just really lovely, really, really lovely. Yeah. And I just elated. What's up, Jason? I also want to, I guess, pave I don't know how you want to say it. I'm really good with the gestations, right? I want there to be an opportunity for a conversation about that, with all due respect to, if somebody feels in alignment, like, I don't know, I can't say with confidence that, I guess when he told me that I had PTSD, I was like, okay, it makes sense why I'm doing this with the doors and all that stuff, and like walking to my studio with a hammer and other sharp objects just in case. So I guess there was a relief in that, but there was never a place I wanted to be stuck. This was not going to be a life sentence for me. But I think as far as diagnoses go, for people that are in that field, which I'm not, and Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, who wrote The Body Keeps the Score, which outsold the DSM-5, which is like the book for diagnoses, medications, stuff like that that psychiatrists use, like their thing. He speaks so much about how the rise in pharmaceutical companies, like just in the 80s and 90s, up until now, it's just become more and more the who knows how they do it, but the way that it could be easier to diagnose somebody and give them a medication when the real work and the solution would be working through it and just taking a little bit more time, And who knows what happens to people's brains? Like I remember when I don't know, after my eating, I was hospitalized for anorexia when I was 23 or so. And they send me to a psychiatrist and therapist, right? And the psychiatrist gave me medication, and I was like, I don't, it doesn't feel good. Like something, okay, we'll try this one, and then let me know how you feel in 4 months. What? Like looking back now, who knows what these things are doing, like to your brain, and they're just playing what do you call it? I don't know, whatever you call it, a game you shouldn't play with another human being's brain, guinea pig, whatever. I had seizures. He put me on Wellbutrin for a little while. I had 3 seizures in one day. And my friend took me to the emergency room. It was fucked up. And then I went to see a neurologist. He said, what medications are you taking? I said, this, Wellbutrin. He goes, who put you on Wellbutrin? I said, my psychiatrist. He said, please tell him immediately to take you off of this. Wellbutrin's the #1 medication to cause epilepsy in people who have no history of epilepsy. And I went to this dude and he was like, well, I think we should keep you on it for a little while. I'm sorry. I just had 3 seizures, one of which I peed in my pants in my friend's car. Real talk. It happens when you have a seizure. And you're going to take it. No, Dr. Castellano. That's not right. That's not the way to be a good doctor. But, just to know that so many forces, I think, so many forces, I think, want to make us feel powerless and thus dependent on something else. And we're the most powerful things on this planet. They had me on Wellbutrin when I was forcibly admitted. I'm sorry. Thank God, no seizures. The only thing I noticed about Wellbutrin was the seizures. I also heard, though, that it's no, never mind. That's Chantix. Chantix, I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, but Chantix is a medicine that causes people to be suicidal that have never been suicidal before. Like, if somebody has that out as a thing, when you just take it off the market, it's so wild to me. Deputy. No, it's July 27, 1971, Heather. That's so funny. If you didn't go to bed, I've literally met 4 or 5 people. Do you know that your husband, Heather, if you're still here, was born the day that Princess Di and Charles, as my mom would say, Charles got married? My birth interrupted the wedding for her. I've just been racking up, what do you call it? When you I've been racking up, I don't know. She's just been mad at me ever since. Ambien. Yeah, that's another one. Ambien is, somebody told me something funny about Ambien recently. It's the best when you're not sure if there's a joint. I was pretty sure. Somebody told me recently about Ambien, but Okay, so Ambien and stuff like that, I forget which part of the brain it works with, but it makes you like it like makes people go a little bit cuckoo from what I understand, and it's like kind of designed that way. Like it's sort of a no-brainer if you know a little bit about the brain, the way that Ambien, Lunesta, and stuff like that work. And then especially if you drink with it. You just set up a joint. Okay, Thomas, I'm with you. Who else has got a joint? Let's light it up. It's 11:11. Okay, make a wish and we won't look at the clock. I am wishing that everybody in this chat and everybody that ever sees this channel is being pushed and always receives abundance in all forms. It will be reaching them constantly, incessantly from sources known and unknown. Make sure I don't look at that clock again. Also, that my dad's having an amazing day in heaven. Another thing about labels and stuff is like, and I guess this goes in, it's in alignment with like a theory that I'm putting together. I'm not 100% sure that I agree with this completely, obviously, but I'm gonna say in a few weeks I might confirm that like 85% of people are shit. I don't mean to be rude. I'm not being mean. When I say shit, let me explain. I'm not saying it in a negative way. It's not emotionally charged. It's more like I wouldn't want to be on a team with you. I wouldn't want to be at the end with you. I wouldn't want to take care of you. I'm not qualified, above my pay grade, whatever you want to call it. So I'll check back, but I think it's about 85%. So that being said, anything is fucking possible in terms of like the levels of fuckery that can occur. But my point was, if you have, like for me, and this is from experience, when I was diagnosed with PTSD, people would yell at me. By the way, guys, don't yell at people unless you're like being funny. It's so fucking rude. So when people yell at me, like that's normal, I'd be like, please don't yell at me. My adrenal glands start to overreact and my heartbeat goes up and I get really nervous inside. Can you just not yell? I thought about this. I was like, if somebody knows that someone has PTSD and one of their trigger responses is yelling, that's literally like an act of violence if they knowingly continue to yell at them, knowing that it's compromising their physiology. It's true. But when I used to say that, what I'm saying is another reason I personally am moving away from labels, and I think that anyone that wants to empower themselves should. When I would disclose that in confidence to someone or in desperation to try to keep my adrenal glands in check, like 50-60% of the time it would just come back, you and your fucking PTSD, you and your problems, you and your mental problems. Like, I'm sorry, no, you're an asshole, okay? Yes, if you got them, light them. I've figured out there's two types of people I exist to disturb. It came out of my mouth the other day, and it's 100% true. The people that don't like to get caught for doing bad things, the ones that get really mad because they get busted for doing bad things. What is that? Like, you're not allowed to get mad when you're an asshole. You have two options. You can lie and deny, which is shitty, or you can fucking do the right thing and do the best you can to make it up. You're not, People that get mad about shit that they've done are mental. And then the other group of people that I'm here, I think, to disturb is the people that do nothing. And there's two levels of nothing doers. There's the ones that do nothing in hopes that when they see which side is going to be the best side, they can just be on that side. So they got a foot on each side. And then actually, I guess there's three. Then there's the level that are just fucking selfish. They just don't want to get involved in other people's stuff. I'll tell you a story in a second if I remember. Then there's just like the other people that are just watching life go by. Let me tell you the story. So when I moved to Venice, when I got my first place in Venice, right? Angels came, I'll call them angels, but some of them were fucktards, like this guy. So this guy worked at CVS, and at the CVS near the Airbnb where I was staying before I found like an apartment, ending my 8 months of not having an address. So he was like flirting with me. He was a guy. He was young. I didn't care, but I was like, "Hey, can I pay like $30 to help me move, like after work?" Because the CVS was like right around the corner. I got a truck. He's like, "Yeah, totally." I have to pick him up at CVS, go to my one friend's house or my student. Amazing. I love this man. God bless this man. He had bought me a new bed. So I had to pick up the bed, and then he had some stuff at his house. So I had to pick up stuff at his house. And so I pick up the kid at CVS first, and then I'm driving the truck to my friend's house, and I like park it, and me and my friend are moving everything. The kid's just sitting there. Like, get out of the truck, you idiot. What are you doing? Do you think I just wanted you to come and watch me move things, you fucking retard? And then people like that will be like, you didn't have to yell at me. I don't know. I kind of feel like someone needed to yell at you. What was the other one? So the do nothing people that are selfish and don't care about other people. I'm at Coffee Bean like 5 years ago, we'll call it. There's a line, and there's a line in Coffee Bean, like what do you call it? Maybe 7 people back. It's a proper line. It's like 9 a.m. The window to Coffee Bean is right there by the thing, and every time it opens, it's super cold. It was like a random cold day in LA. So there's like 7 people in front of me. A woman, old lady, white hair, even with a cute little white person, everything. Like comes in, she's so cold or whatever, and I don't know exactly what the situation was. She either was there and moved, something happened, but people were rude to her, and I didn't like it. And then, okay, so she I guess they told her to go to the back of the line or something like that, and all these people let it happen. Like this dude told her that, and she came to the back where I was. I was like, we're going up front. I was like, excuse me, what is wrong with you, sir? This woman was here and she will be here now. And these 2 freaking Spanish lady, doesn't matter the whatever, Spanish ladies jump in with him. Well, why couldn't she get in the back of the line? She's an old lady. She's got limited fucking time here, bitch. What is wrong with you guys? I didn't say that. But I mean, respect. The guy was like a 35-year-old dude in a suit. And then these women were like 40-year-old, women of Latino, of something, whatever. Like, you guys, anybody above 75, you don't tell them in the cold to go back. I've never been a person that can do that. I pull over car. Last time I was in a car, my friend's like, I'm not taking you out anymore. I was like, there's a dog, pull over. He's like, actually, the owner's right there. I was like, why aren't they on the leash? I just almost jumped out of your car. Jason, I'm thinking, but then again, Jason, I don't know how many originals, like what I'm understanding, and by originals, I mean like real authentic ass motherfuckers like me. I think there are people that have been compromised mentally for a variety of reasons. I'm not blaming anyone. I've just noticed that there are a lot less real people. So when I say 85%, I'm thinking of a smaller number of actual like real human beings. I mean, who knows? I was listening to this woman who like some of what she says makes sense. Some of what she says makes zero sense. But I'm always very oh, where's the troll? I don't care. Somebody was like, yeah, most of the people or so many of these, there's a lot of like, I don't know, synthetic clothes, whatever. And that they would be absolutely walking around LA and Hollywood. A good friend of mine in the movie industry is like, Ashley, this is where they do everything because everything's a movie. Get it? In plain sight. I forgot what I was going to tell you. Anyway. Yes. Yes. Oh, so check this out. I'm walking these. Okay, so imagine. Okay, and then I watch another thing. If you guys, I borrow my friend's Netflix once in a while. There's two shows that are interesting. There's one called shit. Anyway, Better Than Us. It's about a robot. It's very interesting. But that's not the one. Okay, so I'm walking these two dogs. I worked for WAG for a while, which is a dog walking service. So I'm walking these two dogs in Hollywood. And this was this I don't know why when this woman was speaking, I thought of this. Oh, the other Netflix thing that reminds you of this. Something Matrix, like the Beast of the Matrix. Everything on Netflix, you have to watch it. First of all, zip yourself up. Don't let anything come in. They put so many weird subliminal shit there. But also kind of watch some shit backwards. You know what I mean? Like they're telling you the opposite of what's true in a lot of situations on Netflix. But damn, I forgot again. I'll remember. Matrix, Beast of the Matrix or Matrix Beast, something like this. These guys are in like dog heads and they've decided that the whole world is a matrix, is a game, da, 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 da. So they're going into it. And the way that it's hard for me to understand, and I haven't even watched the whole Matrix movie like from front to end, it's hard for me to understand on I understand on like a quantum physics level. I don't understand it on like this level. But that combined with what this woman is saying, so this experience was fucking weird. I'm walking two dogs. One happens to be, I've never even seen this before, so this could have been maybe a game character. I'm kidding. It was called a Native American German Shepherd. This dog was like up to my mid. It was so big. It was like, and it looked like, it was like his hair. It was so big. It was cute. And then this other dog was just a little cute little dog. It was like a little terrier. So I'm walking both of them. Who would have these two dogs in like the middle, like that Hollywood and Vine? I don't know. But I'm walking them and it's quite populated, is what I'm saying. This guy's walking towards me and he's got two grocery bags. And I think I'm clear to navigate him, right? With the dogs. And he like doesn't move at all and like lets his bag go into one of the dogs' heads, like the smaller one. I was like, dude, why did you just hit your grocery bag on my dog's head? He goes, why'd your dog just, like, not even thinking, why'd your dog just walk into my groceries? It was not human. It was not normal. It gave me the chills. 2 to 5 minutes later, same dog, same walk. There was like this, I'm like, I feel like I'm safe because there's like this walkway with bushes on either side. And this woman, again, race doesn't matter. I'm just giving you the visual. She was an African-American woman on a scooter. And she could have gone. So there's a path where I'm in between these bushes on either side, and then there's the street. So she could have gone the street and had plenty of time to see me and the two dogs taking up this lane, or play chicken with me, which she decides to do. She decides to play chicken with me. And I have no option except to turn around and go the other way, which is like turning around a bus. And also, why did you just make that dumbass choice? Anyway, I don't know what I said, but I said something like, excuse me. I think she stopped and like had to like slow down. I don't know what the fuck she expected she was going to have to do. And I said, I didn't even say much. I still rubbing off the guy who put his grocery bag in the dog's face. It wasn't my dog, but to do that to any dog is fucking like evil. And this girl like smiled and was beautiful. She looked like a model. I was like, she's obviously an actress or something, like super put together. And I said, like, excuse, like once she had like kind of like scooted and had that awkward moment with us, and I pushed myself in the bushes and shit. And I said, excuse me. She turned. Again, no time at all. Why don't you go fuck your dog's asshole? Why don't I go fuck my dog's asshole? I don't even know how that's anatomically possible, first of all. And seriously, bitch? I remember being like, I have to take these dogs back and I have to go home. Why don't you go fuck your dog's asshole? It was the last thing you would expect this beautiful, like put together girl to say, who had like chosen to have like a altercation with me instead of just easily chosen. And I'm pretty sure a scooter is probably supposed to be there instead of on like a sidewalk thing. People are so silly. Yeah, but it was also like, but also, Jason, when you're saying 95%, I'm saying 85%. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, I can read they're like, someone was talking about this, and it could be MK Ultra, it could be whatever. But if I have been talking to people and there's nothing there, that is not much that scares me more than that, or like makes me feel uncomfortable than like, you can feel there's not a soul. I don't know what that is. Fucking synthetics, clones, who knows? I don't know. But like those things were not, and if they were people, either way too devoid of conscience, devoid of intelligence, or both, to vibrate on the same frequency of like even like respect between two human beings, if that makes sense. And then anyone who's cruel to animals, I can't. I'll fight. Yeah, yes, it's true. And I tried to tell myself before I met Sloan, I spent a lot of my life telling myself that either the black holes that I was feeling or seeing in people, or the negative things or sentiments or energy that I was feeling coming from them wasn't happening, and that I was being paranoid or whatever. Sloan was like, okay, so here's what's up. It's happening, but you just need to keep going. That's wait. Yeah, no, I can't fuck around with people. I was staying at one of the places I stayed in my homelessness was this girl's house, like a couch in her house. And I always had my dog Shiva with me, which was less than ideal for moving around all the time. But she had this guy come over, like a date, this girl who was running the Airbnb that I was renting a couch from for like 5 days. And he came in, he was like, doesn't matter his doesn't matter his nationality, but he had dark hair. No, but he came in and Shiva was like chillest dog you've ever seen. And he came in, he's like, I'm like over there, you know, and he like walks in the front door. He's like, whoa, put that dog away. I'm like, do you not like dogs or something? Like, he's like, no, I don't like dogs. And that's when I didn't like this girl. When you see a person switch for a man over animals. She's like, do you mind like going out on the porch with Shiva or something? So I can fuck this guy and he can be comfortable because he doesn't like dogs. Spiritually broke. Yeah, energy is intense right now, but it's all that there ever was. Like, that's the interesting thing. Energy is all that there ever was. I think some of us were just more, I don't want to say like in tune with energy, or like, I'll put it this way. A lot of us were just not in tune with so much that I guess everyone else was in tune with before 2020. There's been so many people that I know that have like hearts in the same place as me. That said, in many ways, when 2020 happened, this is in alignment with trauma and stuff. Like when you have trauma, you're kind of more safe when, like, you know how to do craziness. When things are too calm, you're sort of like, I mean, I have a totally different outlook on that now because I'm conscious. Like when things are calm and quiet, I'm just like, my thank yous are louder, you know? But ouch. Animals are the best. They're the most amazing healers. When you pet an animal, oxytocin levels, which are kind of like endorphins, pretty much. Oxytocin levels, they're hormones in your brain. Sorry, they're synapses or neurons in your brain that produce really happy feeling hormones, increase in you and in the dog. I feel like I lost my train of thought, but I'm sure it wasn't that important. Oh, thank you. When the masks went on, the masks came up. A lot of people have told me in many ways since 2020, like a lot of people that I think in many, many ways many, in a lot of like, I don't know how to say it. There's going to be a new word, I guess. We have to be careful with words too, because people jump to conclusions. But a lot of people that have the same belief system-ish thing as me, or I think a lot of us felt like not more comfortable in 2020. Like I remember being so sad for God, like praying to God and telling him, I'm so sorry. You have to deal with so much of this. Like you must be so sad. But in the last year, Jason, I've been thinking more and more, experiencing, shall we say, understanding more and more the 85 to 95%. And I'm like, maybe God wasn't that sad after. Because a lot of people are just not nice. They're not nice. They don't care about other people. When it comes down to it, they'll do nothing. Or what do you call it? The wrong thing. But there are enough of us, good guys, that I can't stop smiling. The previous owner of my pet abused her. I can't. It's like I can't even. It's hard for me to even think about it. Yeah, animals. We need to talk about animals more. So, dogs and cats. I love cats. I'm just more of like a snuggle and stuff. The first animal, or like the first big animal, I got gerbils and fishes and guinea pigs. But when my dad got me a cat, I was really excited. His name was Tigger, or Tiger, but after Tigger, like Winnie and Pooh. And he did not like to cuddle. I remember my nanny, I was like, remember that cartoon Acme something? And there was the girl Elmira who like loved all of those animals and was like, I love you, love you, love you. No, they was like, wee! Like screaming and trying to get away from her. I had like scratches on my arm. My nanny's like, stop picking up cat does not want to hang out with you. And let me put some band-aids on your fucking arm. That cat ended up being like a Georgetown, like, proper gangster alley cat. My parents got divorced. They lived 3 blocks away from each other. And so we'd go back and forth a lot. Is that Tigger? Into the car? But I can't imagine life without an animal, without a dog, specifically. Yeah, everyone's different with that, I guess. But yeah, I can't even imagine it. But also my like relationship with my dogs and how I am with them has changed throughout like the seasons of my life, if you will. I'm so lucky that my life now is just them and teaching yoga to a couple students and writing my book, and like talking to, I think it's a combination of the veil being thin, our powers being on deck and like stronger. But like I feel like I'm not gonna say I feel like my dogs and I talk all day long. They understand. We have like they're extremely intelligent and they're without bias or judgment or programming. I love how much my dogs can help me call myself out, like if I'm projecting or what did I do the other day? Like, I don't know, I was frustrated about something. This might have been the day I made the forgiveness video. And I was like, why am I carrying someone else's shame? But Aussie, my baby Aussie, was just like looking at me with love, like just like, yo, mom. And I was like, what? What? Like, I gave you a treat, Boba. And I was like, what am I? This has nothing to do with Aussie. I feel like they laugh at me. Hi, Angela. Allergies. Are you allergic to animals? To dogs and cats? You can take medicine. Did you say, Nick? That's funny. Yeah, no. And I remember in the beginning, I'm like, if they fucking fuck with animals, like there was some shit, like they were like I heard some nonsense. Sorry. Honda's like, where are we going? Some nonsense, like Hong Kong was like, don't kiss your animals, like transferred vaginas and da da da. But I don't know. There's been some like Australia's fucked. It's so interesting. I think there's so much to learn about our planet in this time. I never knew that Australia was a prison country for England. Like that's what it was established for. They always use number fucking 6. So let's say 4. 1 out of every 4. But think about this. So 1 out of every 4 Australians is descended from a convict that was, or a criminal that was deported from England. I'm sorry. I'm not going to trust the Queen's judgment on who's a fucking criminal. If those were all people that the Queen said were criminals, I feel like they might just be a country full of good people. Anyway. You're keeping her. Oh, despite your allergies? Good. It sucks that you have that. I feel like there's got to be a way around animal allergies, but maybe I'm just being silly. Because I know that they are real. My spliff. Flocana, I love them, but these mini joints, they roll the thing too tight. Oh, in Australia, it's so gnarly. Oh, right. So Australia, I'm like on like a delay. But I don't really care because I don't have like any agenda of this. Australia, they're fucking crazy. They I don't even want to bring it up. They did some really messed up things there to animals. I've never cared. To me, even when I was little, kids and animals, I never cared that much about people. I remember my brother being like, "So you would be less upset if a person died than an animal?" And I'm like, "Yeah. I mean, it depends on the person, but most likely, yeah." Australia is a focus group. I think often about how to like just tackle this problem, right? Um, I don't think that Schwab or Soros will face me. In which case, I'm pretty sure that I could probably negotiate us out of this. There's no reason it should be like this. But at the same time, like Paul Romano says, just let it happen. And we all have a different part to play in this. I just trust that I'll know when, you know, right now, I think it's really important just to stay positive, stay happy, stay um, connected to things that make you happy. I have a feeling we're going to have to like walk through some shit, but that's okay. Just keep walking. Um, yeah, there's this overwhelming sense, especially the last month or so. And it's a kind of like a mantra, like thank you. And if I ever feel like I'm in a quagmire or anything, like I'll always know what to do. It'll be okay. And I'll always know what to do. And I'll always have a home. And I'll always be able to help my friends. Well, there's like a whole thing with, I don't want to get a strike before my channel gets monetized. Hopefully on January 31st. Let's see. You cannot live life in fear. This is okay. So going back to so these people, whoever, Paul Romano, who says the controllers. I mean, the intelligent design is so multi-layered and faceted that people are mentally weak right now from like every direction because of intelligent design. But, sorry, I'm weed in my mouth. If you say so, remember, if you say so, I don't engage. Their rules are not my rules. I am a free and sovereign human being. If somebody ever said anything to me about anything, I'd be like, what are you even talking about? I was like, what are you talking about? I don't go out. That's different though. Like Sloan went to a restaurant the other day. I can't believe, and I'm saying this out loud, and I wrote it too, that he like got the vagina and didn't tell her. That's weird. I don't know. That would probably freak me out too. I have no judgments on anything, but to like go to a restaurant with like someone you know or like think you know, and they like bust out you're like surprised about the query in the first place, and then like they have a card or whatever, and the whole convenience thing makes zero sense to me. I saw a kid, I mentioned this before, he was like 14 years old. I think it was Australia, screaming, crying. I don't want this in my body. I don't know why I don't want this vagina in my body, but I don't. That's like a person's soul screaming. Anyway, I don't go out like that, thank God. But apparently LA is kind of like that. Somebody told me that they had to get a butt fuck to come to LA. There's a vagina and then there's a butt fuck. It's all a little bit mad to me, especially since it's literally not a fucking home run. You know what I mean? It's by no means a slam dunk. But it's all good. So if any of us, and I know that they target they, the big they, people like us, pure souls, intelligent people, people that want to lift other people up, get targeted because controllers don't like people that lift other people up. You know, Osho has been a huge inspiration to me for a decade. I built both of my yoga schools, longer than a decade. I built both of my yoga schools on his teaching, which is no teaching, but his principles in his honor and the Four Agreements. I've been like listening to him again. I mean, I probably, there's no way I've heard every discourse, but I'm re-listening to discourses, listening to new ones, and he is so spot on. And what he was saying 30 years ago and like what I feel like now, and it's so funny how I heard different things 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 10 years ago. I feel like every time I meditate now, Osho is with me. It's fun. So people like us, and when I say like us, I mean like it's a very general thing. I think I mentioned like Project Unite or something. I made a video a while ago. But there's very few rules. So no unconsensual fuckery. Okay? Anything that goes on between consenting people. Okay? No hurting animals, no hurting kids, and like basic other shit. You know what I mean? For like a group of people to sustain. I don't want to get into people's business. Do your own thing as long as whatever. But a lot of us get targeted either by psychiatrists telling us that we have something wrong with us. So we feel like we have, our family situation, structured dynamics. If you guys don't know anything about counterintelligence, it's a really interesting topic. Counterintelligence is a big topic. And the bummer topic, but it's a very real one too. Like, I can't tell you how many times in my life I've like called specific people that were like, I understand now, like not inserts in my life. They don't even know. That's the whole fucking thing about this thing. There are probably programs still running on me. I don't know. But I keep my mind really aware. I keep it's a funny thing. I don't know who it was recently that said all thoughts are demons, or like that was a doctor that started with the name of S, some researcher or something. And I don't think it's that, but I don't think that our mind is ours necessarily. Not like I give these guys so much credit. The American, like the highest American Psychological Association, whatever the highest esteemed by the most people would be, asserted. I laughed because I was like, they just decided this. It happened in like 2008 that they made, after like 30 years of studies, conclusion that the human brain is incapable of studying / understanding itself. There's the watcher, and then who's watching the watcher? It gets really interesting. Another thing that resonated, I always remembered, is like 90% of the things we say, we are regurgitating. Like 10% of what we say is coming from us. I mean, I don't know. I also heard anytime someone says statistics, ignore them. But I think it's very silly when people try to have like ownership over thoughts and ideas. Because as a person that has stood over 45 bodies with their eyes closed, there's something else that happens. Like 45 bodies in Shavasana looks like this. Their eyes are closed, they're on their back, right? One person itches their nose. This has happened probably 20 times that I could just name right now, and the class times in the studio. One person itches their nose, and then 5 seconds to the right or the left, another 2 or 3 people over, someone else will itch their nose. Everyone's eyes are closed, they're on their backs. A lot of people have their eyes covered. You'll just see it. There's like we're all connected. That's irrefutable. But the things that we fight over are never, I think, of any importance at all. Because there shouldn't be any fighting. There should just be isness or doing, right? And we're not doing, like sustaining a happy frequency, right? So there's a very, very massive and significant difference between like pretending to be happy and just telling yourself you're happy when you're miserable. That's called forcing, and it never works. Accepting all that you have and all that you don't have, and allowing yourself to be happy, knowing that the only constant thing in life is change. So if things are good, they can just get better. And if they're bad, they got to get better, right? And existing in contentment, no matter what, that's wealth. That's power. And that's available to everyone at all times. I think it's almost, I don't know, you can tell within a couple seconds of having a conversation with somebody if they've been through some shit or not in their life. And there are people that have just kind of like had like maybe they had like a bad breakup or like one of their parents got sick or died or something. But other than that, they've had like a pretty stable, secure life. It's a different, what's the word? Like a different texture of a person's soul. It's a different conversation. Like I can't really do small talk, you know? I mean, I'll do it in a funny way, but I can't do it seriously. But I see people that are extremely uncomfortable, mostly people that haven't really experienced much in their life. That's put their resiliency to the test, I guess. And they just can't handle anything. I remember when 2020 happened or whatever, because one thing about like trauma brain, all this stuff, like it affects the way your brain works. It's not even close to optimal function. So if you don't have experience operating amidst, you know, tricky situations, to put it pretty, then your mind slows down. You spend time in shock. I can't tell you how many times I was in situations where I'm just watching people's minds, their brains turn, and I'm like, I have zero time. I can't. I don't know about you guys, and I've been thinking a lot because in so many ways I feel very lucky. I have very few people in my life. But I see and I have empathy and I feel for people that are fighting with their families, that are fighting with themselves, that are just unhappy. There's every single reason to be discontent right now. There's every single reason to feel jaded. Every demographic almost. But we simply cannot. Because it's not real. And then when it's real, we've got to pick each other up. You see what I'm saying? This applies to 15 to 5% of the population. Oh, the times that I wanted to tell myself, especially in Los Angeles, there's just I come to contact with that many, but having these conversations with people and they're like smiling at you and talking, but you can just like feel the hate and the darkness in their heart. And you're just like, can we just call this? Stop talking to me. Like, this is uncomfortable. I don't like that. But yeah, there's a lot of that here. That's a separate subject. But in general, my experience in life, because I happen to be like aesthetically pleasing, I think has been a little bit easier in tough times. And like, what about, like, I see people walk by, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I think that people that do nothing and people that do bad things don't deserve a place amongst people that are just trying to live and be free and help other people. It's like, no more trouble. But then again, there's this whole karmic dance, which is not our business. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to have this meditation or this like prayer that I used to do, like, I'm grateful just to be a part of this whole karmic dance, because how many times have you thought something was like the worst thing and it turned out to be the best thing, or it turned out to be like a key to something else, or it helped you? That happens with me a lot. Well, maybe because I trained my brain that everything is a blessing. So now my brain turns it into that. Okay, guys, my contacts need to come out, and I have a student early. I love you guys so much. Oh my God, it's been an hour? That's so funny. Jason, Angela, mwah. Okay, Heather, good night.